Alright, we're going straight to live. We're just going to listen to this and check it to see if it shows up on the stream or if it's super quiet again.
I'll just have it running and turn up the volume, see what happens.
Yep. As long as one or both of us do that. We should begin the stream shortly. And we're going to see if the levels are here. Let's check and see if the levels are here. Who is live right now? Are we live? I think we're live.
Mine's not live.
That's strange because we should be going straight to the Twitch. It's showing up on there. Okay, so we're clearly live now. That's good. We've got a high-pitched noise, but that's okay. That's fine. We're going to reset the show.
There's a lot of feedback.
There is a ton of feedback.
Yeah, guys, we were just worrying about the sound actually coming through, so now we're going to work on that. Ooh.
We've been running into some issues, so let us know when it's at a pleasurable level for you. I'm just going to keep working on the game here. Yeah. Live TV, folks. Live Twitch streams on the internet. Have things calmed down for you because I've put down the game quite a bit. In the hopes that this is actually at a reasonable level now. So, Bizarre 40k Beast, our friend in Kelowna, thank you once again. Let us know if this is actually more reasonable for you. How are you doing? Okay, are we at like a reasonable level? Are we super quiet? What's going on? Can you give us a little more details? Fabio is letting us know and working in the chat too, because hey, when you've got audio problems, doing things via text is actually pretty good. So we're turning up our voices now. I'm trying to get it to such that we can turn it up without putting up too much of that feedback, because feedback is awful.
Yeah, there's still was.
We're here for you, Professor Greg. 40 Below is always in service to you.
Josh is just working on this stuff. I'll keep chatting with you guys for a bit in the chat. It's all good.
A little bit.
We'll see what's going on.
So if we're at like good but a slight buzz, do you think that's enough to sort of reset the show?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have a little bit of room tone, I think, but that's totally fine. If we're audible to you guys, we're good now? Okay. Thank you, Bizarre 40k Beast. Alright, let's reset the show. I am not going to do the dumb things that I did at the start of the show to make Fabio laugh, because now we're a little bit running slightly behind. That's okay. This is Dusty Auspex, Season 6, Episode 8. This is Fabio. The internet calls me Producer Josh. We are going to be talking Kill Team Elites. We have the book right here. Yeah. It's the one element of the production that actually is flawless because it doesn't need to be plugged in or turned on or anything of the sort. We're going to have some reactions to it quickly. There's a couple of lists that have turned up in events around the continent that are shaking up the meta a little bit. So we're going to take a look at those and see what effect they could have on Plains of War June 1st and 2nd at Holiday Inn Airport Polo Park. And then we've got a special treat. Now that we've got the sound worked out, we're going to take a break once the show is done and then play a game of Kill Team Elites for you on stream. Fabio is going to be playing Thousand Suns. I'm going to be bringing a 2-model Adeptus Custodes kill.
Jesus!
2 models. That is it. We'll see how good I am at scoring points with objective markers that outnumber my whole kill team. It's going to be fun. Yeah, so, Kill Team Elites. Fabio, you've had a quick chance to look at the book. What do you like so far?
Okay, so, as I said earlier, I like that there's more. Sorry, I was just updating all our shared chats, letting them know that we are back. So, if you guys can share the post around about Twitch, that would be appreciated so we can get going on the good stuff.
Please let the internet know.
Please let the, yeah, they exist and we are alive and well.
We are not mimes.
Cool. Yeah, so I haven't read too much into the book. I kind of looked a little bit at the Thousand Suns stuff. And the models overall are too expensive to go into 100 points, in my opinion. You just the amount of bodies you lose, I think there's a point where it's just diminishing returns. Like it's just you're not getting enough back in Terminators to warrant the change. I still think they're pretty sweet. I think at larger points, I think they'd be great.
Yeah.
But as I was saying earlier, more is always better. There's more variety. You have more versatility in your armies, your selections and stuff like that, which is always a good thing. You know, it shakes the game a bit. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm always going to see X because X is so dominant. You know, there's ways to work around that a little bit, which is really cool. The art on the front is okay. I mean, it would have killed them to put some like Xeno stuff on there, but
From your lips to Games Workshop's ears.
yeah, literally everyone. What was the other one? Black Templars? Yeah, Black Templars, and then we go to Imperial Fists, right?
Yeah, Commanders had white scars on the front.
Honestly.
Arena had Tau shouting in fear at advancing Space Marines.
Rip.
So yeah, one of the things that's
Yeah,
new in
it's
Kill
cool.
Team Elites is the fact that everybody gets chapter tactics now. They play a little bit more like they play in 40k. You can choose your chapter, your hive fleet, your things that aren't Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines or Tyranids that I care less about because I am deeply prejudiced. Thousand Suns now get their chapter tactic in Kill Team of you can pick 2 models to be activated in Psychic instead of just 1, and they shared that with Grey Knights. Is that a big game changer for you?
The Psychic phase is something pretty potent, especially because it's doing mortal wounds, so there's not a lot that can kind of dance around that. So I do think it is pretty potent. I still don't think it's over the top, which is nice, just from a balance standpoint. But yeah, I don't know. You know, being able to deep strike down, especially if that guy's a psyker, being able to shoot, cast, charge. No, it can't charge. Sorry, but being able, the staying power is there. I mean, I think it's something that definitely has a place. It's nice that it's kind of unique to the Grey Knights and the Thousand Suns, because they are the ones that are supposed to have the kind of the psychic supremacy. So I do like that. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think. You know, if the points level go up a little bit, I would definitely consider putting a Terminator in my kill team just because they're so cool. The models are great, but yeah, I mean, I think it's great overall for the game. Like as far as elites go, as far as Thousand Suns and the Terminators and the psychic powers go, it's like I kind of reserve everything till I get to play a little bit of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got to get a feel for it because I was still kind of skeptical with Thousand Suns, but as I kept playing them, I kind of found a few little tricks and stuff that I enjoyed, so it kind of changed my whole perspective. So I suspect it'll do the same. I think Elites will do the same. And you? What about you? What are your thoughts?
So as we've talked about on the stream before, I do Tyranids and Custodies in both 40k and Kill Team, and then Tau and Kill Team. Custodies I'll go into first because they're sort of the biggest splash. You can see some of the chapter tactics. We've got a quick preview on stream now if you've got any questions. So Custodies, their chapter tactic-ish thing is sort of the same. They got the 5-up, and they've got 4-up invul saves across the board, 3-up with the Storm Shield, 6-up Feel No Pains on Psychic phase. So Cybolt is going to be an interesting counter that's going to be an interesting counter to Cybolts.
Okay, cool.
The big thing that they get is a special exception. You can field an Adeptus Custodes kill team with only 2 models instead of 3. Which is good, because at 100 points, all you get are 3 basic Custodian Guard, or 1 Custodian Guard who has to be your leader, I think. 1 Custodian Guard and 1 Alaris Terminator.
Okay.
And the Terminators get, as all Terminators get in Kill Team, the universal, like a better version of the universal Deep Strike. We'll get to the new Deep Strike stuff in Kill Team in a moment. But I'm excited because everyone was so worried about Custodians being so overpowered in Kill Team. They got so many wounds, they got so much invul, so much AP, like how are they going to bring it back down? Well, you got 2 guys, or 3 guys. So when you're in a mission that's got 4 or 5 objective markers, as many of you do, you got some tough choices to make. If you're in a mission where you can win via breaking the other kill team, you probably have a better shot, but that's not like a super common trait among missions. Okay. It's interesting even because many of the missions in Kill Team Elites are at 125 points, so you do get that little extra boost.
Oh, that would have been great. That's
or,
okay.
200 again if you've got the commanders, and there's new commanders in Kill Team. But Custodians doesn't really fit those because it's either 33 points for the guards, 67 for the Terminator, which is exactly 100, and then the Shield Captain starts at 118. So I can field a Shield Captain and 2 guard and maybe level them up a bit, and then I get to 200. But at 125, I can't fit an extra model in there. All I can do is sort of level up my specialists a little bit. I'm still at that low body count.
You're so special, you need to upgrade the specialist
To the special further,
to the special to the power of 2? I don't know.
It's going to be fascinating. Should we announce what we're doing after the show?
Yeah, I may as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we are decided to do today is we are going to go through the show. We're going to talk about power. We're going to go through the Kill Team stuff. We're going to chat about a few little things in that regard. But then after, Josh and I we're going to shut down the stream, and then we're going to we're going to reset up here, and then we're going to have a second stream, and we're going to have a game of Kill Team incorporating elites, right? Yeah. So we're going to play 100 points. I'm going to play my 1,000 Suns as they are. I haven't, because I don't have anything for elites, and I haven't read up enough about it, so I'm going to kind of maybe be the punching bag a little bit. But Josh is going to have his custodes.
Yep.
He's running 2 models.
Yeah, I'm going to try the 2-model Kill Team. I'm going to have a Custodian Guard and an Alaris Terminator, and that's it.
So yeah, we are going to see how that plays out. So we got a board here. We're going to shift that over. We're going to grab some dice and some rulers, and I don't know what mission we're going to do. We'll figure that out. Josh has been writing some custom ones for our league, for those who don't know. So we might just grab one of those and do that. Who knows? We're going to figure something out, and then we'll be back with that. So
nice.
Make sure to tune in, and we really appreciate if you guys can share it to any pages, any groups that love Kill Team, because it's going to be the first time we're going to kind of go through a Kill Team game. Josh is super passionate about this stuff, and he's been doing a lot of work with our league, and it's honestly the best gateway drug I've ever tried. Kill Team, I'm talking about, yeah.
Does that count actual drugs? You don't have to answer that question. It's fine.
My lawyer says to deny everything.
So my reaction to Tyranids in Kill Team Elites, because I know Professor Grant in the chat is going to be waiting for this. They get 4 new models. They get Raveners, Hive Guard, Tyrant Guard, and Death Leaper as a special custom commander.
Okay.
Death Leaper kind of makes me sad because I was running Death Leaper as a proxy for a normal Lictor, so now I have to go get a normal Lictor model.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. But a lot of the stuff that Death Leaper and Sly Marbo, who's the new Astra Militarum commander, and Illic Nightspear, the Asuryani one, used to do as sort of like their strike and fade, be hard to hit stuff, is baked into the new Legendary Hunter commander specialism. So I'm excited to try that with him. I think Death Leaper is going to absolutely terrify people. The Hive Guard, if you're familiar with them in 40k, their big thing in 40k is being able to fire out of line of sight, which would obviously be extremely overpowered in Kill Team. So what they've done, which I like, is you can fire from out of line of sight, but you only hit on 6s.
Which I think it's a fair trade-off. I mean,
yeah.
Can you imagine being able to hit on like 3s or 4s?
From out of line of sight
in a game 18. That's this small, like it just seems like that's a little.
And to be clear, that's like irrespective of modifiers. It can't be modified in any way. You can't comms your Hive Guard to hit on a 5 and 6. It's only 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think is fascinating.
Okay, interesting. Well, I guess it's out of line of sight. You're just kind of lobbing a shot up and kind of see what happens. So I mean, being able to modify that to improve it kind of seems counter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Tyrant Guard. Normally in 40k, their big thing is being able to soak wounds for Hive Tyrants and go berserk when Hive Tyrants die. In Kill Team, that applies to commanders. So when your Death Leaper or your Broodlord or your Tyranid Prime get wounds, you can soak them on the Tyrant Guard.
How close do they have to be?
I think it's either 6 inches or 3 inches. So they got to be super close, which is a little bit more difficult with Death Leaper than the others because he's so mobile.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's interesting.
But
you can deep strike those guys in, right?
Yeah, we're going to get to the new universal deep strike in a second. So I think that's fascinating. It's a little bit like more tied to Commander's rules. The one that I like is Raveners because they get a 12-inch move, 3 wounds, 4 attacks, and they're 15 points. So I can put in 2 with the amount of points that I used to spend on like a Lictor and a Termagant. Okay. And they get the good steep strike. So now
is there a max on how many you can take?
There isn't. You could field an all Raveners kill team if you wished.
Interesting.
So this is a good time to get into the new universal deep strike
And
stuff.
sorry, do they shoot as well? Do they have shoot like
They don't.
range?
It's
It's all
strictly
close
melee.
combat.
So you got to show
So
up.
3 wounds, you said,
Yep.
and 4 attacks.
Yep.
And how far do they move?
12 inches. The balancing factor is their save is a 5-up, and they don't get any invul or anything.
How many wounds?
Oh, we got a book right here.
Oh shit! Yeah, I guess I'm asking.
I should have pulled out the book. Yeah, Raveners, 12 inches. 3 up, 4 up to hit. 4 strength, 4 toughness, 3 wounds. 4 attacks. Leadership 5, that's going to hurt at some point, and a save of 5 up.
I mean, if you get a lot of them, I don't know. That's could be pretty messy.
It can. So we've got the new Universal Deep Strike stuff up on the stream right now, so you can take a look and read, maximize your screen. Our faces are small, so you don't have to stare at our ugly mugs too much. But here's how it breaks down. Here's how it breaks down. Every model can be put in reserves.
Okay.
Every model can show up within 1 inch of a board edge in your deployment zone at the end of a movement phase for free. So you can show up at the back of your deployment zone and not have to spend any other resources or anything. Just end of a movement phase, show up, drop there.
Okay.
You have to start the game with half of your points on the board as per 40k, and if you don't drop things by turn 3 as per 40k, they are considered to be out of action.
So, hang on a second. So, you can put everything in reserve,
Yep.
but you have to start half your army on the board.
Yes. Just like 40k.
So then you can't put everything in reserve.
Well, every model is able to be put in reserve.
Got it.
Every model has the ability to go in reserve, but you have to start with 40. You half your force in the field. They can show up at the back of the deployment zone for free. You can see at the bottom right of the preview we've got up on the screen right now. You can spend 1 command point on the outflank tactic, where they can show up within 1 inch of a board edge anywhere, as long as they're outside a 5-inch bubble of enemy models. And then stuff like Terminators, Raveners, anything that can deep strike in normal 40k. In Elites, they all get like a custom tactic that lets them show up anywhere on the board outside a 5-inch bubble.
But you spend command points for that.
But you spend command points for that.
Yeah.
So to deep strike anything outside 1 inch of your deployment zone, in the back edge, you have to spend command points.
Yeah, and that was the interesting thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but like the Thousand Sun have one, you spend a command point, you can deep strike up to 3 Terminators. And it's kind of like, if you need to have 50% of your army on the board,
yes,
I don't think you can actually do that.
You're
I'm not a
probably
mathematician,
not putting all
but
3 outside of a commander's game in deep strike, but you can go up to 3.
Yeah.
I would do things like in Tyranids. I've got a Tyranid list that I'm going to test probably this Friday at Game Night Games of Cool Stuff, presenting presenting sponsor 2019-2020.
boom, plug.
Thanks. I'm going to be fielding a list that's 3 warriors, 2 Raveners, and a Hormagon. And I'm going to put the 2 Raveners in Deep Strike, and then let them just have some fun and drop a tactic wherever.
Huh.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see things like uses for this, like take a sniper model that couldn't normally deep strike, put it in deep strike, show it up at a board edge, sure, but like any board edge, you can all of a sudden, you've got the entire edge of the board, you can look in and get different angles and stuff from your sniper. If you've got a leader, and I need to double check, we'll double check between now and our kill team game later tonight, if you have to start with your leader on the board to get your 2 command points to start the game. But if you're a kill team, like I know our friend On-Call GM in the chat plays, where you put your leader just at the back, just generating command points for you in a safe spot, do you start him in Deep Strike and then put him somewhere safe once everything has started to happen?
Yeah.
Right? There's uses for that, because now you can Deep Strike everything. So I am completely fascinated to see what that's going to look like, how that's going to affect Kill Team as a whole.
And especially if there's a spot that you really have a good vantage point of most of the table, you can like draw your opponent to deploy away from it by using most of your army and deploying to that same side, and then deep striking something up, high, and now everything's exposed because stuff like that. Yeah, I could see, especially if it's just a sniper anyway or something like that. That's pretty spicy actually.
I imagine that like the 5 inches of enemy models, that's not just like a circle, right? That is a sphere. So if you've got a map with like tall terrain features, buildings, towers, etc., And there's no models within like a 5-inch sphere of where you want to drop
Yeah,
it.
essentially that bubble around you. Yeah, vertical.
You're pretty
like
good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that should be interesting.
Chapter tactics, deep strike. Now, a lot of the missions in the book are either 125 points instead of the flat 100, or 200 for commanders. What do you think of that new points level?
I mean, it's just something else to do, right? Like, it's just, like, it's not, I don't think, oh my god, it's a game changer. I don't think, oh my god, it was needed. But I definitely think it's just, you know, again, just another, like I've been saying constantly, another tool in the toolbox, right? Like, just another thing you can try.
Yeah.
You know, different, what is it, different strokes for different folks or something, whatever the saying is, right? So,
for me, it was like I was always one of the few things that disappointed me about the core rulebook was the fact that there were only 4 matched play missions. So we spent like a good 4 or 5 months going through those 4 match play missions alone.
but I bet you know them inside and out.
Yes, far too much. Commanders came out with 6 more. Arena came out with like a good 6 competitive arena missions and Battle Brothers missions. One of the reasons I wanted to start the Echoes of Eternity League was so that I could create more missions for people to play.
Sure.
So
Change is good.
Yeah, seeing stuff at like a new points level, I think is good for the sake of that.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, Professor Grant mentions in the chat, Death Leaper is, I think, the only model in the game. They got a special ability. They can charge after deep striking that turn, but you only roll 1d6 and not 2.
But you only have to be
5 inches or
5
less.
inches.
So you got to get within 4. So you got like a 50. You still have that 50-50 chance of making the charge.
Yeah, I'll take that action.
A little bit, eh?
Absolutely. That's
Clacky 304 says, change. You might be a Zinchian person. You probably are, but I'll give you a thought.
Or you're one of those beggars on South Park that are just asking for change. Damn it.
Tree fitty. Speaking of change, a quick update for Echoes of Eternity players. So Mission 3 launched last week. The first Fridays of Game Night happened last Friday. And we got some feedback on the mission that it needed some improvement, for lack of a better term. To fill you guys in, that mission was originally a CTF-style mission, where you grab an objective and try and take it back to your deployment zone. But seeing some of like the sign-ups and the way that the league was going, I decided that was a little bit just too much for newer players, for people who are just getting into Kill Team, and the whole intent is that it's an experimental league. Just show up, very casual, very intro, no painting requirements, no command rosters, just show up with 100 points and play some Kill Team. So having an excessively complicated mission went against that goal. So I rewrote the mission shortly before it went live, and unfortunately it didn't get play tested. Things just didn't work out, and it showed this last week. So we had some of our players, Michael Hare and Nathan Beal, thank you so much for volunteering. They spent their Saturday at KeyCon playtesting variants and changes to Mission 3. And we're going to debut the final version of Mission 3 tomorrow, but I'll pull it up on the stream right now. What the two main changes, as you can see sort of from the deployment map, are the deployment zones are now 5 by 14-inch rectangles instead of triangles. This gives you more space for your kill team and more ability to get different angles on the other kill team and the servers at the core of the mission. One of the concerns was that 5 by 14 triangles is a little restrictive. This is less restrictive now. The other change is that instead of the difficult terrain being simply within a 7-inch radius of the center and like therefore 14-inch diameters across, it's now within a 1-inch diameter of each server. Roughly about the same amount of difficult terrain is generated, and the servers themselves are difficult terrain, but there is a new tactic you can see on the second page where for 3 command points you can destroy a server and score points for it, and, you know, get rid of that difficult terrain. So as the game goes on, now in the new version of the mission, there's an option that will open up more of the terrain for you if you think you can deal with, you know, limited ability to score points. If you can deal with more access, more firing lines is what I'm talking about. So that new version of the mission is going to be finalized and up on the website shortly. All the other missions can be found at 40belowgaming.com/killteam. And thank you everyone for participating in Echoes of Eternity so far, being a fantastic community. to make missions for, to run events for. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate your patience as we learn things about this new format of Kill Team. As you know, we've put together missions for Twin Eagles, for Planes of War, etc. for many, many years. Tons of experience with 40K. Still learning in some other things. So, once again, thank you for your patience with that. We'll have more details up on the website and our Facebook page and everything else starting tomorrow. So, resetting a little bit, that's a wrap up for the Kill Team. If you've got any questions or comments about Kill Team Elites or Echoes of Eternity, hit us up in the chat. We'll answer them as soon as we can. But
don't forget that we'll be also running a game afterwards.
Yes.
So make sure to come back for that. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat later. We'll try and answer them as we play. And yeah, we'll go through stuff then as well. So don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, but back to your drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. The return of the Lists of the Week segments. This has been gone for a couple of weeks, but we think it's some of the most valuable content we can put out is to actually just look at lists that have been put up online or performed well in events and dissect them and sort of we can see how they tick. So we've got two that we're going to do today. The first placed second at the Alamo GT this past weekend. This is a Necrons list from Antonio Cedeno. This comes to us via Best Coast Pairings, one of our sponsors for 2019-2020. We love you, Best Coast Pairings. And as you can see, the list features Sawtech heavily. You got triple Doom Scythe, triple Doomsday Arc, a Cryptech with a Canoptek Cloak and a Staff of Light, and a battalion that has Immotech and Overlord, 30 Immortals with the Tesla Carbine, and 9 Tomb Blades. Fabio, you're an experienced Necrons player, as many people here in the city know. What's your reaction on seeing this list and it placing second at a good-sized GT?
So, first of all, congratulations on placing high. I mean, it's no easy feat with the Necrons in their current state.
No.
This clearly just, if I didn't know anything about Necrons, it would tell me that A, this guy has been playing Necrons for a while, B, he knows his list inside and out, and he's got to know, things like the missions he's going to be playing, maybe the local meta, things that he's, things like that to better his odds. It's an interesting list for me personally because I have always found the Airwing detachment with the 3 Trip Doom Scythes just to be underwhelming to me. Like, their ability is great, especially if you go first. But if you're not going first, like, those things are just paper planes.
What's their ability for those of us who don't know?
So basically, they can all target a single unit, or they can target a single spot on the board, and then with any unit within 6 inches of that marker, I believe it's 6 or 3 inches or something like that, you roll a d6, and on a 3+, they take I think it's D3 mortal wounds, and then if it's a character, they take it's on a 4-up or something, and it's same D3 mortal wounds or D6 or something. It's a random, but you're taking mortal wounds, so it can snipe out characters. It can do a lot of damage to a lot of squads. It can make things run away. You can really blow up important parts of a unit's, an army's core, just because it can avoid the layers. It can avoid those so stuff like yeah. So it's a great. Plus, it's got the Tesla destructors. So you've got each one of those things has 8 Tesla destructor shots. So that's hitting on 3s, exploding on 6s. There's no AP to it, but still, it's a lot of shots. And as we all know, this game is definitely a game about shooting and weight of dice. Mm-hmm. So the more I see this, the more I want to keep trying it. And maybe I'm playing it wrong, or maybe I'm just been getting a little unlucky in the way I've been trying to play it. But the Airwing has been working out well for some. So that part of the list, it's very static, like there's no deviation in it, but it's cool. It works for some, and it's cool to see. So good on them there. The spearhead with the Trip Doomsday Arcs, that's basically that's something that's very standard. They have the Gauss Flux arrays, which are amazing. You're firing if they're in double tap range, you're firing 20, strength 4 AP -1 Gauss blasters at things on top of the big beams, right?
Okay.
And those things, if you're rolling hot, you're melting a lot of you're blowing up tanks, you're blowing up vehicles, anything with multi wounds that you can just melt through them. It's they're really good. They can definitely, it's all random amount of shots. Random amount of damage, so they do have their drawbacks. However, it's all Sawtech, so there's an ability that you can spend CP on after a unit has shot, and I think it's done damage to a squad. Anything else that's Sawtech firing at that same squad, I believe it's not re. I think it's probably reroll. I think it's rerolling ones, I believe,
Okay.
for their shots to hit, which nothing wrong with that. And then there's the core of his army. Now, this is interesting to me because I personally just really hate the troop choices of the Necrons.
Okay.
So he's got Imutech in there, and I never use Imutech. But I do hear good things about him, and he just doesn't fit my kind of play style.
Okay.
So but as far as from a usability standpoint, he's really good. He's just got a lot of tools. He's very versatile. But then the 3 squads of Immortals with Tesla, I do not use Tesla. I still think Gauss is better. It's stronger. It has the AP. It doesn't have as many shots, but
we've just mentioned the weight of dice about 30 seconds ago. You think 30 with the more shots of the Tesla is the choice here, or is you doing this just to save points for space in the other stuff on the list?
No, because Tesla and Gauss don't cost anything different for the Immortals.
Right.
It's just a free swap.
So he's just making a choice for.
So he's just I think it might be a meta thing. I mean, playing a lot of hordes, running into a lot of cultists, a lot of Zangors, a lot of guard blobs,
which we're seeing now that
which
the
you see a lot of.
going away.
So that might, having the AP orcs, things that have paper saves anyway, the -1, -2 isn't so highly valued.
That's fair.
But so I think maybe that's a contributing factor to that, which in that case I would agree. I would tend to agree with that choice. I think he's got what's the bottom there? I can't quite see it.
Tomb Blades.
The Tomb Blades.
9 Tomb Blades with shield veins and 2 Tesla carbines again.
Yeah, so these things are just basically high mobile. They're tough. They have reanimation protocols. I believe they have 2 wounds each, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they do. And so it's weighted dice, moving fast, and especially again, if you don't need a lot of AP, and I mean with the Necrons, the way that list is built up, your Doomsday Arcs and your Doom Scythes are pretty much your tank hunters. So they're not your horde killers. But mind you, Doomsday Arcs, don't get it twisted. Those things mow infantry.
Yeah.
If you get them in the right spots at the right times. But that's cool. But yeah. So this list overall is just, it's got a little bit of everything. It's kind of that take all comers kind of list. So at face value, it's nothing special. So what that tells me is the general behind this list,
I was going to say,
clearly knows his stuff inside and out, knows when to move up with units, knows when to stay where he is. He's not taking any destroyers, which I thought was interesting, because still a squad or 2 destroyers have been doing work for me. So
Homer Sayer in the chat is saying strength of Necrons is that they come back to life. Destroyers are the money. So you're seeing a no destroyer list.
No destroyers.
Takes second at a GT.
Yeah, but I mean, all those Immortals are coming back, right? And then I believe there's a Lord in there, an Overlord. So he's basically, you can increase the ballista skill of a unit by 1. So they're hitting on 2s.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So you start with that squad hitting on 2s. You use the command ability to, if you wound the squad, everything else rerolls. Everything else at Sawtech that shoot AM rerolls. So basically, one squad is buffed to make sure to get a lot of shots in, to have the chance of wounding, and then the rest of them have a better chance of just hitting more. Which is, because all those rerolls mean chances at those 6s, which explode, and you get 3 for the price of 1.
That makes a ton of sense.
It does. And especially and then that on top, that in conjunction with even the Doomsday Arcs, the Tesla from the Doom Scythes, everything's getting the rerolls to 1. There's a lot of ways to get rerolls to 1 with Sawtech, which is
that makes sense. So
really good.
It's almost virtual weight of dice again with the rerolls to 1. Nalarp King in the chat says the list can do serious work versus armies that bulk up to start. He chimes in that the 3d3. This is a little bit further up in the chat. The 3d3 mortal strat is going to wreck your life. You need weight of fire. So, like, what are the reactions to that? Like, we've been talking about weight of fire for the last few minutes, but lists that bulk up to start. How would you take this list and fight an enemy list like that?
Like this?
Fight an enemy list that bulks up. It bulks up to start, whatever that means.
Well, I guess first we got to define what your definition of bulk up to start is. Like, is that? Yeah, like that.
Maybe like the mob ups with orcs. Now, Larva King, if you could chime in the chat and let us know sort of what you mean by that.
Yeah, what's your definition of bulk up?
Love your salt emojis, by the way. A+. Yeah, and this sort of continues a theme that I'm seeing in competitive 40k armies recently, which is like just speed and positioning, as well as some ability to withstand, like good all round sort of stuff. There's less now that Castling's gone, less high firepower. It's basically Eldar flyers and stuff that can position themselves quickly.
Yeah, but even this, like, this army can't just sit out in the open and be okay. Like, this is an army that still needs to position very soundly.
Yeah.
Because once anything gets tied up in this army, yet like the Doomsday Arcs can fly, the Doom Scythes are fine, the Doomsday Arcs, and the Doom Scythes, they can fly, so they're okay. Mm-hmm. But like those Tesla Immortals, like this army has no way of getting them out of combat, or quickly. Like obviously they can fall back, but them getting tied up in a spot where they're not wanted. Very tight deployment. Okay. So, that kind of stuff, they don't hold very well. Reanimation helps, but even still, like, you don't want to get wrapped up. Like, you don't want those guys sitting there because generally they can't kill anything. So if someone wants to wrap you up, either they're there to kill you or they're there to keep you wrapped up so they can't be shot at, which if you're a Necron player and you can't be shooting at things, you really have no way of achieving victory.
You're not affecting the board.
Yeah, you're just not affecting the board enough. So tight deployments, for sure. Okay, so that makes sense. Absolutely. I definitely agree that this list definitely can mow down, put out a lot of fire really early. My biggest thing about it is if you don't have first turn, I mean, it's still tough.
If there's anything that embodies prepared positions, I think it's Necrons that just rise up from the ground, having been in those positions for millennia.
But about that time, But not that. That's pretty much this list. It's put big dents in early and hopefully be able to weather the return fire, and then through reanimation and things like quantum shielding, stuff like that. Maybe getting a lucky snipe with the Doomsday Arcs. The Doom Scythes, pardon me. There's a lot there. Like it's definitely a potent list. Imhotep, it's funny because I don't use him, so I don't read up about him. But I see him used quite often, so it kind of makes me want to give him a go and go read up again because maybe missing something. But he's in a lot of good lists, so he's something. He's got to be a linchpin of some sort in there. He's got to be doing something too. I know he's firing off. He's got a big shot of some sort. Like he can snipe some stuff. That's one that I'm. For sure. That's kind of what I was thinking about in terms of big horde.
The Larp King says this list can crush knights in pure AM, which we were seeing both before and after the FAQ change. So that makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, that still holds true. So, but kudos to this guy. Well done. I mean, apparently list number 1 in this event, there was some issues with it from what I've been hearing. So this guy going 5-0, and I think I was looking at who he played. Like he didn't play he didn't play any slouch lists, but he definitely played some big horde lists, which, as we've confirmed multiple ways here, that this list can definitely hold its own against. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
The second list we're going to discuss today, real quick, this sort of continues the theme of being able to position yourselves with speed and move up. So this is Genestealer Cult's list that sort of mixes in a Tyranids battalion and a Brew Brothers Astrometarum. I can talk. I'm going to need to get more coffee. Astrometarum battalion. You've got First, you've got your Hive Fleet Leviathan Battalion that's got a Malanthrope, a Neurothrope, 74 Termagants with Flesh Borers, and then 12 Zoanthropes, which share something in common with the Doom Scythes. If you get 3 units of 3 Zoanthropes close together, you can pick a point on the battlefield that they all see, and you're doing 3d3 mortals to all units within, I think it's either 6 or 12 inches or something like that.
Okay.
You get like a Psychic Barrage.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing as the Doom Scythe.
Cool.
So we're continuing that theme, and again, you can use that to snipe characters. Get
Yeah, like
behind castles.
it bypasses the layers
Yeah.
that they try and. So it's kind of interesting. I do like that ability.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't play enough, so I guarantee it's just a matter of playing it more. I'd see the value in it.
Generalship, yeah.
But
you only need 9 Zoanthropes to do that ability, but if you put an extra Zoanthrope in each unit, then you can lose one safely and still get your ability off. The next detachment is Genestealer Cult's Mixed detachment, which I would have loved to have seen a little bit of an explanation on, but we'll do a little research and we'll get back to you. This one has a Genestealer Magus with a Familiar as the Warlord, and then a Jackal Alphys, which is the new sort of quad runner guys. This is their leader, who can snipe from the back of his quad. We've got 10 Acolyte Hybrids, we've got 10 Brood Brothers Infantry as a part of that, and then a Kellermore, the Gunslinger guy, which is just cool. I'm sorry. Rule of cool.
It's not only cool, but it made the list. It made the cut.
The list! Anyway, he's just your classic character sniper. And then 10 Adelan Jackals with demolition charges and shotguns. Those are fast. I guarantee you that's going to be his move up middle of the board and then do what you need to do part of this. Because at the back, as his firing line, his main artillery, we've got a Supreme Command of Astra Militarum tank commanders, 2 of them with Punisher Gatling cannons, and 1 with a battle cannon, all 3 equipped with heavy bolters. This, I think, looking at it, again, having not played this Tyranids in some time, but I can see that this is very much an all-comers list. You've got elements of everything that we've seen succeed in the meta today. You've got a ton of bodies with your 74 Termagants that you don't care about, I don't care about. They're food. They're cannon fodder. You've got an ability to move quickly and strike quickly with your Adelan Jackals, and then you've got just some point at something and delete it with your 3 Astra Militarum tanks. Now, the question for you, Fabio, how would you take the previous list with your Trip Doom Scythes, Trip the other things, and the 10 the 30 Tesla Carbine Immortals, and fight this list?
Well, I don't again, don't play a lot. So this is one of those. Not many people run Genestealer Cult, let alone Genestealer Cult or Nids or Guard for that matter, like this. So this is a kind of interesting one to me. Like, I'm not sure. There's a lot of different aspects that I kind of worry about. Obviously, the Termagants are not something that I would worry about right away, because I know they're not going to get in my face. They will be advancing, I would assume, and start either taking board or stuff of that nature. This list would, like anything that's fast that can tie me up. I would definitely be looking to try and mitigate that in some way early. Things in the backfield would be where my Doom Scythes would probably go, and try and the Doomsday Arcs for that matter, and try and mitigate that incoming fire. The Zoanthropes do worry me. They're very resilient.
Yeah, 3 up invuls and a fair amount of wounds.
So weight of fire at them would probably be the way to go. How tough are they? Like, what's their toughness?
I don't know off the top.
Okay, that's fair. It's probably gonna be. Like, I imagine it's probably. It can't be worse than a 4. It's maybe a 3, or maybe a 5. But they're multi wounds. They 3 up. Actually, no. I think they're only 4s. They've got to be, and that's why they have the invul and everything.
Quick second here.
I'll like for you. What do we got? Termagants. This one's I'm not honestly. I'd have to do a little bit of reading to figure out how I'd really want to try and deal with this. But again, it partially has to do with the mission, partially has to do with the terrain that's in front of me. So it's not just about like, oh, I'd fire at this first, I'd shoot at this second. It's kind of, what can you see? There's a lot of variables that aren't. It's T4. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, people. Really appreciate that. And the Larb King says in the chat, you take the mix because the Legion traits don't matter. You need the strats for the Jackals and the other stuff. And you get access to every strat. It's a good way to efficiently get access to everything you need. That makes a ton of sense. If you don't necessarily need a sub-faction rule, a chapter tactic from your Genestealer Cults Battalion, and you just want access to all of the strats, it's a good way to do it. We can pull from both the Four-Armed Emperor and Rusted Claw cult creeds to get the strats there. It's a fantastic insight. Thank you for that. Thank you, Professor Grant and Homer Saying, for saying it's T4. It is indeed. They have fly, though, so you can pull back quite well. And then the Larb King also chimes in, you just fly your deep strikes, your Doomsides over there, and you do the 3/3 mortals back to the Zoanthropes. And I can tell you as a Tyranids player, that would sting. That would really sting, because they are only 3 wounds each. So a good counter psychic barrage. You'll
be taking out a chunk of them.
Yeah.
Even if you're just rolling average. So that's okay. So that makes a little bit of sense.
Homer Sayer says, I can't wait until Necrons get allies, hopefully with cheap troops. Xenos Auxiliaries, just put the Codex out. Give us a Xenos version of, like, Inquisition and Forces of the Imperium. I swear. Make it a new, like, Xenos faction so that everybody just wants to buy the models. And
do whatever. Just give us some kind of flexibility. I don't really care. I wouldn't consider myself in the competitive game as much and really hunting the meta. But, I still like to put out a good fight, and it's just like you keep seeing all this stuff come out from everyone else, and like even lists like this is a perfect example. Like there is 3 different books in this list, like that is amazing, and it's from a competitive standpoint, but also just from like a cool factor. Like I can mix and match my toys. I can do more.
There's a ton of tools in this.
There's a lot of the toolbox is very big over there. Mine's still the little Fisher Price one with 4 tools,
But they come back.
But like seriously, no, like honestly, it's like I'm looking at really 6 or 7 units all the time, and it's just like it's getting stale.
That's fair.
So like, don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it gets to a point where it's just like you want to have a game. It's like, okay, let me take one of my few lists because it's literally
the same.
All I got.
Bizarre 4K Beast, a friend in Kelowna, I'm just going to keep saying that, says they just got back from Storm of Silence in Spokane this weekend. Eldar Flyer spam is strong. So that ties into
what part of it is strong? Just the fact, like the list itself is extremely strong, or is just it was everywhere? Like the
I assume they mean it was everywhere.
Just everywhere. Like how is it faring as far as like records go? Were they doing well? I mean, surely I guess eventually they have to run into each other, and then it's just like basically who gets first turn. If you're playing that many flyers against that many flyers, but.
Yeah, which ties into the next question I was going to ask, which is, what do you think we're going to see at Plains of War? We know Kyle is going to be bringing a lot of Eldar flyers.
Yeah.
We know that there's a fair number of Knights players in the city. We know there's a fair number of Chaos players in the surroundings. What do you think we're going to see?
I mean, I know there's going to, there's going to be a lot of Chaos. There's going to be some Astra Militarum, and there's going to be, for sure, some Eldars, some Harlequins. There's going to be some Dark Eldar. I mean, as far as what's going to win it, I mean, the big lists, obviously are the favored. That's just the way that is. But I'm always rooting for the underdogs. Got to be honest. It's nice to see something different, and it's no knock at people that are taking the top stuff, because that power to them. Because it's still, just because you take it doesn't mean it's an auto win. That is 100% true. It might be a little easier in some cases because it's maybe a little more forgiving, but even that nowadays, it's not the case. So there's a lot to know, there's a lot to learn. So if you're doing well with a good list, that's because there's a lot of practice involved, there's a lot of time spent, there's a labor of love there. But so I don't know, what is going to win is not a question I would really ask. I would love to see a list that has somebody's maybe something. It's probably gonna be something that's a top tier list, but I would love to see something that has that person's kind of individual twist or flavor on it.
Yes.
Just something that's like, it's like, whoa, didn't think that would see the table, or didn't see that coming, or
let's see some pet units, right?
Yeah, something that's a little more creative, like out of the box, that they kind of have been, it's been in the back of their mind. It's been in some of their lists that they haven't, they've been kind of waiting to drop on people. So like something like that would be really cool to see. So I would definitely commend someone if I get to see that on the top tables. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The game is what it is, and
yeah,
and whoever's gonna win it, I mean, they're gonna have to play 6 gruesome
very good
games, and it'll definitely be not only a mental marathon, it's gonna be physical too, right? Like, you're standing that awful like 45-degree angle you're kind of on.
I spend so much time sitting because I don't want to throw out my back.
Yeah. And that was actually, I know we're going to segue here a little bit, but it's interesting. So a couple guys at the last bunker bus were talking about, it's like, when you sit down as an opponent, does that turn you off? Does it show that person is kind of like not interested or less engaged by sitting? And it's like, I see both sides of it. In an event where that you have 6 games, it's a lot of standing. Taking any opportunity to sit is more. It's not so much. I would not perceive it as an insult or not interested, but as trying to rest and try and help yourself kind of play the long game. Whereas others were like, I don't know, like it might turn me off, or they think that I have to stand the whole time because otherwise I will look unengaged. And so it was an interesting conversation, and I don't mean to deviate too much, but I'd love to hear what other people think about that.
Yeah,
just because
tell us in the chat.
It's just it was an interesting thing to hear, and I was like, that's interesting. Because especially when the other guy's moving and stuff, I'm always like, yeah, man, go do your thing. Like, I'm going to just I sit a little bit. So it's interesting. But anyway.
But just my perspective on I don't know what's going on with someone's body, someone's life. I don't know if they've got old injuries or something. I'm never bothered by people sitting down. Part of this is probably because I play a lot of kill team where you don't actually have to get up too terribly much, except
you got a nice the reach is easy.
But for me, it's when someone's not thinking about the game when it's my turn.
Okay.
Right. If I'm trying to engage, you've got questions, what are your saves like, etc., and you're not there, or if it comes to your turn and then you're like, okay, what am I gonna do? And you go in the tank a little bit and you start thinking too much because you weren't thinking previously while I was playing because you're on your phone or something, like when you're disconnected, then I'm like, are you here right now? Or are you with us right now? Sitting, like I said, I don't know what's going on with someone's life. I don't want to tell a war vet who's gone and fought in Afghanistan that he has to stand for 3 hours. That's not a thing I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm going to judge you if you're not connected. Like, if you've checked out. That's when I'm like, I don't take sitting to be a sign of that. I take, phone use. I take, slow responses to questions. I take going in the tank too much because you clearly weren't thinking about the game during my turn. That's when I'm like,
okay, that's fair.
That's my moment.
Yeah, and people are saying bad backs and stuff. Had a few concussions in my day, and just the whole back is all out of whack, and it definitely takes a toll. It's not like I can't. I can definitely do 3 games. I can definitely do the 5 games. 6 games I can definitely do, but taking even out of a whole game, these games are 3 hours. If you take 10 minutes, out of the whole game to just be able to sit and let yourself kind of reset even just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a game changer at least for me. It just takes a little less stress off the back, and I can actually instead of being oh fuck, my back hurts because I'm standing for so long. It's I can actually.
It doesn't take up mental bandwidth.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of sympathy.
So it's interesting
because go ahead.
No, it's just an interesting. Yeah, no, go ahead. No, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Personal moment here. I have had 3 surgeries on my lower back, below the small of my back, above my tailbone. So I usually, I have a special cushion I'm sitting on right now as part of the show to help relieve pressure on my lower back.
Actually, it's funny. I always wondered why you made a point to bring that around with you. So, if you don't know, now you know.
So yeah, like maybe that gives me a little bit more perspective on why I'm not going to judge someone for sitting down, because I usually try to as much as I can. Most games I will stand up to measure and move, and then like if I need to point and make decisions and stuff, I'll go. Like I'll probably stand during my turn, but opponent's turn, I am going to sit. But I'm going to watch you, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to still be engaged.
Yeah, try and be engaged in some way. For sure.
Because otherwise, like, my back's going to murder me. I'm not going to make it to the 5th game of POW. Right?
Yeah.
Not that I have to, because I'm streaming the whole time, and I get to sit.
We're still got the list.
Yeah, tune into... Well, no, that's... I think your thing's frozen. We're rolling fine on the stream. It's okay, it's okay.
What? So am I missing people's talking?
/40below gaming for frozen images and our streams from Clans of War. But yeah. Checking in with the chat. Homer's knees are messed up, so you can't stand all day. I hear that. Professor Grant's bringing a stool to Plains of War. I hear that, absolutely. Are we going to have chairs available at tables?
Every table will have chairs. They're not they're not rock solid. They're big cushiony chairs from the hotel. So they're banquet chairs. They're nothing fancy, but they are...
Yeah, I'd still set up a stool just to have your rule books handy and other things.
Sean. Yeah, the clocks are running. Yeah, absolutely. That's another one. Remember to bring your clocks if you got them.
100%. Maddox says, back couldn't take all day. I'm there with you. Bizarre 40k Beast, our friend Kelowna says, almost 300 pounds. Still stand the full time in all games. Respect to you.
Yeah, man, that's no easy feat. Like... I mean, I'm not 300 pounds, so I cannot imagine having to do that. So, I mean, definitely, kudos to you. That's crazy. But even I can't even stand for 6 games straight, and I'm only 165 pounds or whatever. So, like, I don't know. It's just, especially leaning over the table. I'm telling you, it's that angle, the back of your legs, your calves, that strain there,
you get, like locked in.
And you know what's crazy? Even through the events themselves, it may not be that bad. But I don't know about any of you guys, but I find like 1 to 2 days after an event, I feel that tension, like that tightness in the back of my legs, and it is crazy. Like it's a thing. But no, it's cool. Honestly, I'm excited. There's still tickets for sale. Obviously, I hope more people join up. I hope people sign up.
40belowgaming.com at the shop, buy the ticket.
Yeah, and there's the double down still available. Like, a bunch of people were saying that the price point on the 2 day, or they can't play the 2 day. They don't think they can do 2 days. And we put the 1 day up, and kind of like wondering where all those people were at, and if people are interested in that, it's available as well on the website. So make sure to sign up. But yeah, what else? Make sure to sign into Best Coast Pairings.
Yes.
That's important.
We've got a bunch of players signed up on Best Coast Pairings right now. You can see, we were talking about perhaps the meta earlier in the show. You can take a look at the players, you can take a look at some of their lists and see what you're going to be up against. When you sign up and you register on Best Coast Pairings, other people can see that, and that's a determinant in whether other people show up to the event. So makes this easier on us because we can plan our streams and our everything around who we're going to get there that much earlier. BestCoastPairings.com, search for Plains of War. I signed up for Best Coast Pairings and I bought just a 6-month membership yesterday because I decided I didn't want to be a scrub anymore. It's worth it.
No, BCP it's a great tool. I have the recurring annual subscription. I don't look into the list as much as maybe some others do, but it's always nice to see what's happening, what kind of lists are out there, what people are doing. So yeah, BCP is it's just a great tool, honestly. Like I can't speak highly or enough about it. I guess there's not a lot of time left, so
yeah, we're gonna wrap things up.
We're gonna do a kill team game. So please, if you have questions, even about the events that are coming up, make sure to get those questions in right away. Because if your question doesn't get answered before the day of the event, you are at the mercy of the TOs and the rules judges, and you'd hate to have a rule judged out of your favor just because you weren't aware of something. because that really sucks, and that can
Yes.
really spoil an event for people. That can, give people a kind of hopefully not a bad outlook on the whole event, but
It's
just
souring. Like,
it
it's
is.
a bad taste in your mouth sometimes. You get caught by surprise by something like that.
Especially when when you think you got something and it doesn't happen. It can't work that way. But I mean, at the same time, do some due diligence. So I definitely encourage you to send messages to the page. Any of the big questions that weren't answered in the FAQ, we've tried to answer them in our own FAQ on the rules link that we have on our website. Mm-hmm. So make sure to go there. How do you sign in on BCP? Well, you gotta search. I'm on the POW event page. On the POW event page, in BCP. If you're in BCP, you gotta register. It's I don't know where the register button is. It depends on your phone. But that's all you gotta do. You just hit the register button. You gotta put in your email address, and generally, if you've been a part of the ITC before, it should automatically fill the rest of your information in, and that's it. And then the rest you have to, like your password, your army list, and that stuff you do at the time of check-in. Army list you can put in any time up until I think we have, I can't remember the date, but there's a due date for that. But yeah, you're on the POW event page. Bizarre 40K Beast, are you on the page? Oh my god. Are you on the 40K page on our website, the 40 Below Gaming website, or are you on the BCP app or website? That's the question. But
yeah, I've just dropped a link in the chat. Fabio put together a lovely musical signing to BCP, a brief musical. Check out that video. It's one way or another you'll be able to sign into BCP after watching that.
And then the list deadline, I can't remember the date offhand. It is on the event page and on the website. It does specifically say the date. I don't know if you can pull it up quick.
I'll pull it up quick.
But it's up. It's there. Please don't miss that deadline. You're going to lose some points for it, and points per day as well. So some guys don't like reading that stuff, so I will continue to emphasize it over the next couple weeks. But yeah, the 25th sounds right. Like it's somewhere. We gave you guys at least what is that? That's like what? So you get 6 days before the event. Yeah, no, 5. It's 5 days before the event, so it's for sure the 5 days.
Yep. Codex cutoff date is May 25th,
25th. There we go. Boom. Confirmed.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, if you have any problems with BCP, please message the page. I will be, in the office around my computer, for the rest of the week. Or the next couple of weeks, working my real jobs, but I will be, I'll be there, and I will be able to help walk people through as best I can if they're having issues. But yeah, and if there's no other questions, Josh, do we have anything else?
Very quickly, next week on the show, it's going to be our big go-home show before Planes of War. We're going to have some rules experts on the show to be able to answer any and all of your questions about the FAQs for 40K, the FAQs for Planes of War, the missions to the extent that we can answer them. Make sure you're tuning in next week if you're attending Planes of War, and even if you're not, because we will be able to answer all of your questions. We'll have the resources here for you. It's just a big hype show all about our biggest event of the year, and that's next Monday at 7:30 Central. But first, Kill Team Elites tonight after we've ended this broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we're going to start broadcasting at 9:30, our Kill Team Elites game. So come back in half an hour and watch some, I think, of the best skirmish action in wargaming ever. Producer Scotty B, he's gonna hate me for saying that because he's a huge Mordheim fan, but I'm gonna say it. Kill Team 8th Edition is some of the best skirmish action you've ever seen. Come back at 9:30 to watch that show. Rolling through our sponsors list super quickly because we gotta get ready. We got Game Night Games and cool stuff. Go play at their place on Osborne. It's fantastic. They're our presenting sponsor for 2019-2020. Frontline Gaming and Best Coast Pairings work together to help us put on huge events like Planes of War for you. We love them. We love you. You should love them. Northern Lights Terrain. You're going to see some of their stuff in a second. We often choose them on the stream as well. Go to northernlightsterrain.com for some of the best MDF terrain on the internet. Manitoba Model Soldier Society is judging the painting at Planes of War. Holiday Inn Airport Polo Park is hosting Planes of War. If you're going to book a room there, use the code Planes of War to get 30% off your ticket. Seventh Forge Studios, get your models commissioned for Planes of War. They're fantastic. They're great to work with. They showed up last year. They're showing up this year again. Battle Foam. Carry your models to Planes of War and Battle Foam. It's some of the best storage solutions on the internet. Best Coast pairings we've mentioned. CM Engrave. Go win things that CM Engrave made for us at Planes of War. The trophies, the plaques, everything comes to us from them. They've been phenomenal to work with. I want that stuff. When you're done at Planes of War, 2 weeks later is Prairie Con, hosted in conjunction with I Want That Stuff at Brandon. Go play there after Planes of War and get a little bit of a cool down. It's a doubles tournament. It's fantastic. AYBOnline.com is sponsoring our gear for Planes of War. So when you watch our stuff at Planes of War, they're going to help us bring that to you. Done.
Boom, he kills that. I don't even need to talk. It's the best.
We will be announcing who won the draw for the tickets
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We'll do. I know we were going to do it today, but I was not able to get the Twitch one. So I have one winner, but from the Discord, but I don't have the Twitch one. So I'm going to be doing that, pulling it random later tonight, and I will have those two announced tomorrow. Well, as soon as I get to the office, they're going to be. I'll have a post made. So nice. Thanks for that reminder. But yeah, it was just we were having issues with volume and everything, so we just didn't have the chance to run that random. You're killing me, small. Oh, easy, easy.
Tune in tomorrow for that announcement.
Yeah.
Tune in half an hour for Kill Team Elites. This has been Season 6, Episode 8 of the Dusty Auspex. He's Fabio Fiorentino. Do the thing.
Oh, fired up. Until next week, keep fit, have fun. Oh, it's going to hit me.
Now the buds are cheating. I'm going to hit the button now.